I am here with Randy Myers after Boom Pro Wrestling, Big Egg Energy. What a show. Great performance tonight. Talk about your match.
Thank you so much. Yeah, tonight I wrestled MRB, and we were talking in the back, Michael Richard Blais, and we were talking in the back that we've been wrestling for 19 years. We had our first match together 19 years ago. We fought originally in Alberta. We were both from there, and now here we are at Boom Pro Wrestling 19 years later, still beating the snot out of each other and loving every minute of it.
Yeah, and us as the audience love every minute of it too.
Thank you.
We talked a little bit about your entrance before hitting record here. You thrive off of your entrance,
100%.
So what was the inspiration for tonight's
entrance? Was actually MRB's original theme song from like 17 years ago. He looked a lot like Gerard Way in his youth, so we thought he should come out to My Chemical Romance. At that time, I'm Not Okay was like the big hit song or whatever. It was actually the first concert he ever went to. We bought him tickets for his 16th birthday party or 16th birthday or something like that, and took him to that first concert. And so I knew when I saw I was against MRB tonight that was the perfect song to choose, and that he had no idea that I was coming after that. So looking at him in the eyes in the middle of the ring, and he swore at me and he called me some names because I got him. He did not see that shit coming.
Yeah, that was just great to watch.
Right? And the audience just ate it up too, which is fantastic.
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw back a little bit here. When I was first at BCIT, I did a quote-unquote sports section, and you were the first interview that I ever did.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Very exciting. You were fantastic. You made it so incredibly easy for me.
I love it.
You thrive off of the character work.
Totally.
Where does that inspiration come from?
A lot of it's a lot of people say have complimented me on my character, and I always take it as a great compliment, as it's meant. But a lot of it's just me. I just play myself out there. It comes so naturally. I don't plan a lot of that stuff. It just I'll go with the flow. A lot of the time, like you said, I thrive off my entrance. That is I feel like the song almost possesses me, and then I just roll with it. You know what I mean? I'm not a good dancer. I don't know what the hell I'm doing out there. I just kind of let the song take me over, and then I just roll with it. So That's what it is. It's not necessarily character work as much as a possession.
Okay.
A demon possession.
Hey, whatever works.
Exactly. Right? I made it work.
So you do stand-up comedy on the side as well. What are the differences or similarities between stand-up comedy and pro wrestling?
Passion is the number one thing that's a similarity. You know what I mean? If you're going to do anything in the arts, that you're willing to go out there, pour your heart out to an audience that's going to maybe love you, maybe hate you, most likely hate you, then you just got to love it. You've got to have that passion for it. You've got to be willing to do it for free. You've got to be willing to drive 3 hours to do a 5-minute spot. You know what I mean? It's all the same, and I see we want to give the same thing to the audience. We want to give a little piece of ourselves that we aren't able to normally give, which is in stand-up, pro wrestling, improv, any sort of theatrical sports, burlesque, you know what I mean? Anything that's in front of an audience. Yeah.
What guided you towards the performing arts?
Oh, geez. Again, I think it's just it's built a part of who I am. The first time I ever, the stories go back to being 2 years old and singing at a pizzeria and getting our meal comped because I was just putting on a show for the whole room, right? So I think it's one of those things that I was born to be an entertainer, and truth be told, not really good at anything else. So thank God people seem to like me in the ring. Yeah. Or on the stage,
Yeah, well, hey, looks like you're born for it.
Yeah,
from our perspective.
Appreciate that.
So you've been around the Vancouver wrestling scene for quite a while now. Yeah. You've probably seen a lot of people come in, go out, watch it grow and flourish. I've talked a lot about how the Vancouver wrestling scene is really, everyone has just come together. It's a really tight-knit community.
Yeah, it's really come into its own, I think, too, and found its own brand of what Vancouver pro wrestling is.
Mm-hmm. Talk a little bit about, the community now compared to when you first came in.
Well, there's a reason I moved from Alberta here 12 years ago, was because I always had faith in this scene. I always knew that this had the seeds and the seedlings, and it was growing, and I saw something potential that wasn't necessarily in other places, and I just needed I needed to spread my wings somewhere new, and I always, like I said, saw the potential in the ECCW back in the day, or with people like Phantasmo, people like Artemis Spencer, people like Nicole Matthews. These people have always been top tier performers, and performers I wanted to work right with, you know what I mean, and to learn from and to grow with and stuff like that. So to be able to be brought into the crew and brought into the team and accepted, and it's meant a lot. So it's been beautiful to see the Vancouver scene blossom, and people like Liza and Elliot Tyler and Jackie and Sharif and all these young up and comers that have now grown into their own, you know what I mean, and like stand tall with toe to toe with all of us, you know what I mean. And there's just such a thick roster and new talent like Moral Panic and coming up all the time, you know what I mean. So like there's like a swath of great performers out in Vancouver, and I think that like I just am excited to work with more people.
Tonight is an example of like watching guys pay their dues.
Totally.
Like Jackie Lee with Tony Baroni, someone who he came up training with.
Exactly.
Tommy Chan, you talked about Moral Panic.
Yep.
He took a bit of a beating tonight.
Yeah.
And like that goes to show how much they want to be here and how much they're willing to do to be a part of the scene.
Totally. Well, you see all the amount of volunteers that we get from different schools around like the the province of BC, you know what I mean? They come from the island, they come from all over to help support each other's shows. We all show up at each other's shows, we take down the ring, we help each other, you know what I mean? That's all part of that like dues paying, like you said. And I'm not willing to hurt myself for very much in this life. I'm not really willing to leave my house for much in this life. And pro wrestling, I'm willing to do both of those things all the time. So it really is special. So if there's anyone who's listening to this and has never been to a local show, I can't try to convince you enough, because there's nothing like a live pro wrestling show. It's the energy, it's just a place where adults can be children, but also still respectful. You know what I mean? It's just a place where you get to be living in an alternative version of reality for 2 hours. You know what I mean? And we'll take you away into our storytelling, and all the real BS and violence outside in the real world is mocked and kind of parodied within the realm of the squared circle, and so we can kind of be that stress relief for other people. So please check out a wrestling show, whether it be Boom, whether it be WrestleCore, whether it be New, whether it be Dusk, whether it be Glam Slam. At ASW, come to a show within the Vancouver region, because there's so much talent that's just going to blow you away.
2 more questions for you. Won't keep you much longer.
No worries.
The Weirdo Hero is such a big part of, like, I would say who you are and what you are outside, or I guess, in the wrestling world.
Totally.
Talk to me about how much that means to you, that character.
Yeah, it's just who I am. It's 100% who I am. It's always like, I've always felt like I was on the outsides of things. You know, I've been a bit of a misfit or an outsider or whatever, but wrestling is built on the outsiders, so it's hard to be an outsider in a place full of outsiders. So I've always been a bit of a weirdo, and if I can, I'm born a weirdo, and I have to work really hard to be a hero. But I mean, that I think is important. You know, there's so many people that I would expect. The status quo assumes that because I'm queer, because I'm wearing makeup, because I'm this, that, the other, that I'm the heel, that I'm the bad guy persona. You know what I mean? That there's no way that people could cheer you or support you or whatever. So for me to be the weirdo hero and to be the opposite of what people expect to see from your clean-cut superhero, you know, your Clark Kent or anything like that, to see somebody who maybe looks a little bit more like the Joker but trying to do good things and trying to spread positivity, I think is really important, and can actually like hit a lot harder than playing the status quo or being what people expect when they look at you. You know what I mean? Yeah. Breaking these rules. Yeah. And at Boom tonight, like it really connected. It's awesome to see how that has flourished. Totally. I guess. It's a commercial drive. It's the Legion. It's the place. You know, it's the mecca of weirdness. So I appreciate these fans having my back so much and for supporting everyone. You know what I mean? Like I say, watching these other people get that support and that love from the audience is like so encouraging for us all to. It makes the bumps hurt less. Honestly, it does. You know what I mean? It's a lot of it, when we're in that ring, it's our energy, and a lot of it's the energy that we're vampires sucking out of the fans. You know what I mean? That they're also giving us. So if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be able to do this. Yeah. And last question, just promote any shows you have coming up. What do I got coming up? Well, I run a monthly comedy show. It's called Comedy Vinyl. We run it at Slice of Life, which is on the corner of Venables and Commercial Drive. It's a beautiful little art gallery, and it's a half karaoke, half comedy show. So we have comedians do 30 seconds to a minute of their best attempt at karaoke, and then they follow it up with like some of the greatest jokes you're going to hear in Vancouver. We got the best Vancouver's best comedians and most mediocre karaoke singers to come out and do our show. And like I say, it's in an art gallery. It's got similar vibe to Boom, where it's just about community, about us showcasing off our weirdness. So I would say definitely try and get tickets to Boom, because they sell out fast as best you can. And then come check me out at Comedy Vinyl, you know what I mean? Or check out any independent art in your local neighborhood. If there's something that you've been wanting to go to that you keep putting off, go to that show. Go to that show. Support your friends. Support local art, because we need the money. We need the money. So please just support the shows. And yeah, and I think it'll be good for you too, because there's nothing like watching somebody else do something that inspires you to do the thing that you want to do. You know what I mean? Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Randy. Thanks, friend. Thanks for doing this. Thank you.